I was definitely looking forward to Diary of a Wimpy Kid: The Last Straw. I really enjoyed the previous Wimpy Kid films. And while there are aspects of this that I enjoyed, I just didn't think it was as fun, it wasn't as interesting, it wasn't as funny. On its own, absolutely fine. Compared with the previous films, it wasn't that great. This was released this year in 2025. It's directed by Matt Danner and Gino Nichele, and it's written by Jeff Kinney. And we have a voice cast including Aaron Harris as Greg. And in this particular film, which does have a Christmas theme throughout it, Greg's father wants to send him to military school as Greg's lacking a lot of life skills. But let's face it, it's the parents' own fault. There's a scene early on where he doesn't know how to use the key to the front door because he's just never had to do it. Well, that's kind of his parents' fault. So I don't think it's fair to ship him off to military school when his parents have failed to teach him basic skills. Greg also doesn't want to go, but he says that he will become a wood chipper instead, and this is what he does, and it's about him getting his various badges and doing these different tasks, some of which go a little bit more smoothly than others. It's also, as I said, with a festive backdrop. I guess it is a Christmas film in that regard, but it's maybe not the most Christmassy with the activities or things, but it's festive enough. And we have obviously some great lessons here about growing up and taking on these responsibilities. It's something that everybody has to do at some point, and obviously it's time for Greg to do this. But I do feel like there's quite a lot happening for Greg because, as I said, his parents have kind of failed to teach him things gradually over time, and now it's everything at once, and that's obviously quite an intense experience, and I think it came across as being believable in that regard. Greg's reactions to things felt very believable. We have some opportunities as well for Greg to spend time with his father. Those moments were quite interesting. The narrative does work well, and I think there are some important messages both for Greg, with regards to the fact that he does need to start growing up, taking on responsibilities, but also for his parents as well. And for any parent in a similar situation, don't wait until you have to teach your child everything at once. Do it gradually over time. Do I actually believe that Greg had never used the front door key? I find that really hard to believe. I really find that. Does that mean he's never been home alone? But he's old enough to go to military school, so I don't buy it. But nevertheless, I'm sure there are people who have missed out on various milestones and may be quite nervous about stepping up and taking on these bigger responsibilities. And I think it does a good job of reflecting that part of it, the emotions there, quite accurately. So the narrative does work. But as I said, it's not as funny. It's not as fun. The characters aren't as adorable. I just didn't find it to be as fun or as creative as the previous films. Had I never seen the other Wimpy Kid animations, obviously I wouldn't be saying that, and I'd say actually it's a pretty solid experience. But the other films did raise the bar to quite a high level, and unfortunately The Last Straw just doesn't quite reach it. That being said, the actual animation is nice. The animation quality is very satisfying. We have some good music, some good voice acting. On its own, Diary of a Wimpy Kid: The Last Straw is a decent film. The narrative works well. I think there are some really strong messages. A lot of it felt believable. Maybe not all of it, but enough of it. Compared with the others, though, it's just not very good. So if you didn't like the previous Wimpy Kid films, unless the narrative really appeals to you, I'd say you're probably not going to get much out of this. But if you are a fan of the Wimpy Kid films, if you do like the earlier animations, then obviously give this one a go. It's not perfect. Also, I think it could get you into the festive spirit. I do think the decorations, it is stunning. It is very nice to look at. But at the same time, it's maybe not the most Christmassy film with regards to activities and things. I guess they had a balance there. If you want to watch it for a Christmas film, you can. If you're not specifically looking for a Christmas film, it would still absolutely deliver in other ways. So it's okay. Diary of a Wimpy Kid: The Last Straw is a decent experience. Not as good as its predecessors, but still one that I'm happy to recommend.